I don't want to be too controversial, but in a lot of ways, this Chiefs season didn't go very well. I know that's a tough take, but they were 6-7. They're about to be 6-8 on the brink of official mathematical playoff elimination. Things hadn't been going very well. And believe it or not, truthfully, I had peace with about at the 2-minute warning of that game that you know what, maybe the Chiefs score a touchdown and win this game. More likely they're going to line up for a field goal. Maybe they hit it and tie it. More likely Harrison Butker will miss it, and that's how the season will end. Just kind of, the symmetry of storytelling. But I felt okay about moving into off-season mode. I'd kind of accepted this year's team didn't have it for all these different reasons. Literally just like, I don't know, as long as Patrick Mahomes doesn't tear his ACL, things will be okay. And I'm going to be okay. I don't know if you all have been paying attention to the news, but I'm not okay. A truly cosmically horrifying end, essentially, to a season that had already been a struggle. Patrick Mahomes, done for the year, already had surgery on his ACL and LCL. We are moving on to the recovery timeline there. And the Chiefs are mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, all in about 2 minutes of game time. We will look at this from any number of angles here today on Only Weird Games. Joshua Brisco, Seth Keysor, and Nate Taylor with you. But Nate, as always, you were out there for that, and I actually don't know exactly where you and Seth are each going to go. You just kind of agreed on what you wanted the main first topic of today's show to be. So I'll let you guys kind of navigate there how you see fit. But how are you doing, Nate? Here, a couple days removed from the worst on-field moment the Chiefs have had in an incredibly long time.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. As Nate Dogg said, take us to the multiverse, Nate. And, buddy, we're about to head there. Okay. Now, I tried to use this responsibility, this duty, with the utmost um, honor, and with great power does come great responsibility, and I'm aware of that. And so it is of today, kids, that we have to do a multiverse level, Spider-Verse level monologue. Now, someone come get me at the 10-minute mark, because for the next couple minutes, I'm going to remind you that this is the end of an era. But to go forward, we always have to go back. And ladies and gentlemen, I did some investigative journalism. I really took diligent time to do research, to make sure this is factually accurate, to put you in a state of understanding. There's this website called YouTube, and I found something insightful, useful for this time. Whether you are watching this live on YouTube right now, shout out to them, or if you're listening at a later date. But there is a video on this so-called website that is almost 14 minutes long, and you bet you I watched all 14 minutes today. Because once this thought entered my mind as I exited Arrowhead Stadium around midnight on Sunday, I couldn't get it out of my mind. So, if you would, ladies and gentlemen, stay with me. This video started out with some incredible play calling, an opening script that we perhaps haven't seen all season. And the quarterback played as well as you could have asked him to play to give you the team that you root for, the team that represents my hometown, a 14-point lead. With 2 minutes left in the first quarter, Derrick Henry fumbles the ball near the Chiefs sidelines. The Chiefs, however, do not recover this football. Just before the 2-minute warning, Derrick Johnson has one of the best highlights of his career. As many of you know, that highlight could have been even greater if it not have been for the officiating that day. An official who never reffed another game after said game. A minute later, literally a minute later in the game, Travis Kelce sustained the first concussion of his career, removing him from the game. But still, the quarterback that you rooted for took the Chiefs down the field just before halftime for another impressive touchdown drive to give your team a 21-3 lead. The first drive of the third quarter was the first sign of trouble, kids, because the opposing quarterback caught his own pass and scored a touchdown. Even after a horrific 3-and-out, which you could clearly tell was conservative play calling, and a quarterback who did not want to turn the football over, understandably, with a lead, the Chiefs were still bailed out because there was a muff punt that was immediately recovered that immediately put the Chiefs in field goal range. And yet, their rookie kicker missed a 48-yard field goal, hitting the left upright. The Chiefs, ladies and gentlemen, did not gain a first down through that entire third quarter. Derrick Henry then explodes for a 35-yard touchdown. On the next drive, the quarterback hits the backup tight end on 3rd and 2 in the chest for a first down. The backup tight end drops the ball. On the Titans' next drive, their most experienced receiver catches an even more impressive pass, a 22-yard touchdown between two defenders. On 4th and the season, the quarterback puts the ball on a seam route where only his receiver can catch the ball. The receiver alligator arms it, doesn't want to get hit, doesn't make the catch. The defense cannot get off the field in the final 2 minutes, and the season is over. If you are still wondering, ladies and gentlemen, what game I'm referencing, that is the 2017 Wild Card Weekend opening playoff game loss that the Chiefs had to the Tennessee Titans. That was the last time before Sunday that the Chiefs had the end of an era. So, Josh, if I may, let's go back one more time. The quarterback that you root for on Sunday entered the game with a messed up ankle, a messed up groin, and a messed up knee. And the quarterback still did a masterful job on the opening drive. He said, well, boys, this is the best I'm going to feel all game, and used his body to get your team into the end zone on a very impressive opening drive script to take a 7-0 lead. Your defense, despite not having its best cornerback, was still able to get consistent pressure on the opposing quarterback. They removed the Chargers' best offensive weapon from the game in Ladd McConkey, and the Chiefs went up 10-0. Once again, there was a troubling sign, a warning. As the sun started to go down, the Chargers had an impressive kickoff return aided by a special teams unit that has arguably been one of the worst in the NFL this season. The defense, which was playing spectacular, could not get off the field in a 2-minute drill. Their inexperience, their rookie player, their guy you've never heard of, made a touchdown catch between two defenders in the end zone. Well, Nate, I'm sure the referees didn't have anything to do with the game. Well, let me remind you that Tyquan Thornton was bear hugged in the middle of the field. No call. Well, after halftime, the Chiefs could not move the football. Patrick Mahomes was being protected by Mike Caliendo, Esapole, Chu Godric, Kingsley Suamataia and Creed Humphrey. Ashton Gelati had an interception. It did not matter. Their fastest receiver, on a very good play call, stumbled on his own, fell down, and entered the concussion protocol. Am I missing anything else? Guys, the era ended Sunday when the quarterback that you root for tried to pull off yet another miracle, rolling to his right like so many great quarterbacks before him, and experienced the most significant injury of his career. And the moment CBS cut away from your quarterback being assisted into the tunnel, assisted through the walkway, and into the locker room, the backup quarterback threw a pass you cannot throw to prevent Harrison Butker from having the chance to extend the Chiefs season for at least another 10 minutes. That is how the era ended. And if you don't see the similarities between these two things, then I'm here to remind you that your football team, much like the 2017 team, was vastly different from the 2018 team. And I'm telling the audience now to end this monologue that the team you saw on Sunday will not be the same team that you saw and that you will see in 2026.
Seth, you wrote about it, and again, you guys were both kind of on the same page of wanting to start with the end of the era. Where does that lead you?
I have just a tiny bit of pushback on the last time an era ended in Kansas City. I would say that the last time an era ended in Kansas City was actually 1 year sooner, at the end of the 2016 season, where the Kansas City Chiefs could not score a single touchdown against a flawed Steelers team, which keep in mind, before the Patrick Mahomes era, and I wrote about this when I was doing like the 10 games that have defined the Mahomes era to date, the Steelers used to own the Chiefs. And it was the second or third start of Mahomes' career, the second one of the 2018 season, where he threw like 97 touchdowns against them, where it was like, oh, things are different. Here's my pushback to that, because I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right that this is the end of an era. Now, let's be clear. That doesn't mean it's the end of the Chiefs dynasty necessarily.
Correct.
Not making the playoffs this year. I mean, if they go right back to the playoffs next year, make a run to the AFC Championship, people are going to be like, oh, they're back. All that, okay? Mm-hmm. But what I would just say is that 2016 game where the defense played really well, you had the kind of really rough holding call against Eric Fisher at the end of the game. I was there, actually, with my wife and a couple of my kiddos. Thanks to Chiefs Kingdom, actually. It was one of the kindest things anyone's ever done for me. But made incredible memories that night. But it was obvious after that game that it wasn't going to happen with Alex Smith. You'd had five, I think that was his fifth season as a starter, 13, 14, 15, 16. It was the end of the fourth. And the offense had actually started to decline, right? And so they went and drafted Patrick Mahomes. They traded up for him. Everything came together. It changed the franchise. I would argue that the 2017 season, everyone knew, no matter how that season ended, that Patrick Mahomes was going to be the quarterback the next year. And they altered the offense around a number of different things, namely them realizing that Tyreek Hill wasn't just like a gimmick player, but was a legitimate superstar.
Yes.
The best deep threat of his generation by far. It's not even close. So I would say that 2017 season, it was the previous era. You've got the Andy Reid era has two eras with an interlude, because you've got the Alex Smith era, the in-between, the intermission, and then the Patrick Mahomes era. And even the Patrick Mahomes era has been going on long enough. So that's the only pushback I would say, but you're absolutely correct. There's an end of an era, and I would say it mirrors that Steelers loss in some ways in terms of the offense simply not being able to get it done.
Correct.
The defense, now look, the defense is not as good as its overall numbers show, but neither is the offense. You've got a defense that is fine if you had a consistently high-level offense. You've got an offense.
And everybody knew, I want to remind this to people, everybody knew the defense was going to take a step back this season. The team knew that the defense likely was not going to do what they did in 2023 and even 2024 by measures, and that it was the offense's turn to carry much of the load for this team.
Right.
That makes me crazy because of some decisions that got made, but I'm going to save those for later.
Yeah. So I would say, and that's something we're going to have a lot of time to talk about, because there's been a lot of conversations this week last week before the game where people are talking about the Chiefs' total EPA, about their DVOA and how advanced stats had them as a top 5 offense and all that stuff. And my pushback to that was, and still is, that that's propped up a little bit artificially. And
my eyes.
Well, also your eyes. And if you just look post-bye, the difference in the numbers is stark, and you see what happens when they're playing better defenses. So I would just say, I agree that an era ended. Who knows how successful the next era will be? I think someone at the Star, I don't remember who, I feel bad, he had tweeted out an article that he'd written that was whether or not this was essentially a speed bump or an exit or an off-ramp is going to depend on what they do this offseason. And there's a number of directions that takes.
Right.
So I agree. It's the end of an era. I'm going to go a different approach here for a bit. People can see the look on my face as we talk about stuff. I am angry. Certain stuff was avoidable. It really does say something that the play that Mahomes got hurt on, they were finally dialing up an under center play action shot play to Worthy that actually worked. And Kingsley Suamataia gave up pressure a skosh quicker than you want, and Mahomes hesitated a skosh longer than you want because he doesn't trust what he's seen. And that's exemplifies how the greatest quarterback I've ever seen play the game isn't playing quite as well now as he was 2 years ago, because he doesn't trust what's going on around him. I'm angry about that. That bothers me. I'm angry that because Mahomes is forced to be Superman, he's playing on a knee that was vulnerable.
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there, okay? So we'll talk about that all off season, or, in the coming weeks. Like, I'm about to write about that, like what the next step is. So everything I'm about to say, people don't think, you've heard me rant this year. I've been angry about a lot of things that they could have done differently. Also, seeing an era end makes me realize what an incredible thing I just witnessed. I reread the article I wrote after the Chiefs' first Super Bowl win, when I think we were all still at the Athletic at that point. And I just wrote about how Jazz and Jazz is bookending this era. I wrote about how Jazz, in the moment when everyone was celebrating, had caught my eye and had said to me, "Are you enjoying the moment?" Because I'd been reminding people, I don't know if you guys remember, I was talking about it all week on the podcast. Yep. And the big thing that I said was, just enjoy the moment, enjoy the moment. These moments are rare. And she made sure that I slowed down and enjoyed that moment because she's awesome. Here's the thing, though. For the last 7-8 years, those moments haven't been rare. Those moments have been the norm. Those moments have been what we've gotten to wake up to constantly. I cannot believe what I just got to witness. I can't believe it. And I wrote this.
And to your point, just real quick, this is better than the 49ers dynasty of the 80s. This is better than the Cowboys dynasty of the 90s. There's only one dynasty that's inarguably better than this. No team other than that team has been to 7 straight AFC championship or conference championship games, let alone the era that just ended included a stretch of the Chiefs being in 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. Yeah. And not even they did that.
Josh, where did you get that hoodie? The people demand to know. It's a great hoodie.
It is. Really? I'll reveal that later. Stick to your point.
All right. So that was I didn't think the Chiefs would win a second Super Bowl. I had no idea. Oh, by the way, you know what? I should say this publicly. I pushed back a ton, and then I'll get back to it. I pushed back a lot about the idea of blaming Connor Embry for everything, and I do still think that's overly simplistic. But yes, the wide receiver coach needs to go. I'd argue the running back coach probably needs to go. Andy Heck designs the run game, and they need to figure out some stuff. But a lot of this, Andy's got to figure some stuff out. But we're going to come back to that. I'm just grateful. I wrote about this on the Chief North newsletter. It's open for anyone to read because I really think it's important. Because if you're not careful, you can become someone who only thinks about what a bummer it is when things end rather than really enjoying what happened with them. And that, I wrote about this. My 9-year-old son and me, we're leaving church, we're driving away, and he's all sad. I'm like, why are you sad? Because I was having so much fun playing with my friends, and he'd been playing with his friends for like a couple hours. And I was like, well, but that was fun, right? He's like, yeah, I'm just sad that it has to end. I'm like, yeah, I totally hear you. You know, feelings are feelings. They're not right or wrong. But also, the only way to avoid that feeling is for the good thing to have never happened. That's the only way. When my grandpa died 3 weeks ago, 68 years, married to my grandma, and as soon as he was going to have to be moved to a nursing home because of his memory stuff, he was done. And he didn't want to live a single day without Harumi Keysor because he never did. And it was devastating for my dad, devastating for my family. I love my grandpa. I miss him. I can't feel that way if I don't have that relationship with him. So these are like, kind of the those are big picture things. This is a football game. I just want to roll through a couple things here. Just something to keep in mind. From 2018 through 2024, by my count, I watched the Chiefs win 107 games. 17 of those were playoff games. That comes out to a little over 15 wins a season, guys. 15 wins a season we've gotten to watch.
Remember what I used to say, that there were people inside the Chiefs facility that was just like, no, put us down for 12 wins. They hadn't played a game yet, kids.
We got to watch so many incredible things. I got to watch this is just, I got to watch them make an incredibly improbable comeback. I'm just going to read this because it's better than I'm going to say. Against a great defense to win their first Super Bowl in 50 years. I got to watch them drive the ball down the field and kick a game winner in a Super Bowl shootout. I got to watch the Kansas City Chiefs come back in overtime and win with a walk-off touchdown in overtime. And in between those three Super Bowl wins, I got a ton of memorable moments that I never got. My entire life as a Chiefs fan, I was so young during the Montana era. I never got playoff moments like this. Seriously, I'll never forget the 24-0 comeback against the Texans. Sammy Watkins finding the end zone to seal the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl. Wasp. Anything is possible. The beatdown of the Bills in the AFC Championship. People forget that because they've had so many great moments that they destroyed the Bills in the 2020 AFC Championship.
They've ended the Bills season 4 out of the last 5 years.
The better than a bye evisceration of Pittsburgh in the wild card round the next year. 13 seconds. Mahomes jump passing on a wounded ankle to beat the Jags. Chris Jones closing out Joe Burrow and the Bengals, man. The closest thing they've had to a rival. The Kelsey Bowl ending with a perfect second half. The Sub-Zero stomping of Miami. Buffalo went wide right again, beating a supposedly unbeatable Ravens with a beautiful deep ball to playoff hero MVS. And Chiefs fans know what that means when we say playoff hero. We're not kidding. It's true. It's not a joke. You got to watch MVS become a playoff hero. The walk-off to McCole Hardman that created a dynasty following a read option on 4th down that kept hope alive. Succeeding in the divisional round without a real left tackle. Ripping the heart out of Buffalo again. They show up a lot. Seriously, Buffalo fans, I understand why you hate Patrick Mahomes. It's okay. We got to watch Andy Reid in the last great playoff memory we've got with this team eviscerate the Bills with one of the best game plans he's ever coached. Doing stuff to where afterwards, when Go Long was doing a feature on the Bills, they were just like, they were running stuff we'd never seen. That's awesome. And so here's the deal. Gratitude, that is, yeah, I'm angry. Sure, let's move forward to the next thing. But I'm just grateful. Yeah, we're going to talk about all the stuff that's got to go, and we're going to talk about all the stuff that's different. But man, I'm not going to be someone that gets to experience something that the vast majority of sports fans will never experience. Ever. You just went through something most sports fans will never experience. And I'm grateful. I'm happy. And that's something to think about, even as we now say, yeah, there's some reasons to be mad. There's some reasons to be upset. There's some things that absolutely have to change, because here's the deal. We know it doesn't have to be this way. That's the era that ended. It doesn't have to be this way in Kansas City. This success is not a given. And that's the era that ended. The era of what was maybe kind of becoming entitlement. But man, I'm grateful that we had it so good that we got a little entitled. So I'm back and forth on that. Yeah, I'm angry. Yeah, I'm frustrated. Yeah, I have no idea what the future holds. But I'm also, man, I can't believe I got to watch what I just got to watch.
It's probably hard to do this, Seth, but of that like laundry list of moments, is there one of those that's even more calcified to you than the rest?
I always thought
I think we should take a break. I agree.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home, because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Emprise, because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity, because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Missouri, your moment is finally here, because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day. The tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KCSN. New Missouri customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KCSN. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Let's drill in a little bit on what actually happened on Sunday, where it leaves the Chiefs. Now, this is not going to be a traditional game breakdown. I don't think any individual thing. Frankly, I don't even know if there was a new thing. I think it was a lot of the things that we've seen happen this year. The defense did plenty. The offense couldn't get anything going, and you're left looking around going, well, how does this offense with this roster come up as short as they have so many key times this season? But like I said in the cold open, I was actually at a point where I was ready, just because I've seen enough. I was keeping hope all the way into the Chargers game, insofar as if you told me they came out and they had a 27, 30-point offensive effort and things started trending in that direction, it's always been bad business to bet on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs missing the playoffs or not making the run when they need it. So I had some room for hope. And then, the defensive and it's really special teams and defensive collapsed in the first half. The offense just goes completely MIA. And the other 3 games that we were keeping an eye on were all going against the Chiefs' playoff hopes. So losing that game, they were instantly mathematically eliminated because the other 3 games that had already wrapped up before then. But I really was in an okay place to start the offseason and just say, hey, it's really, really, really hard to be this level of consistently great in the NFL. When you win games, you get a worse draft pick. When your players develop amazingly, they get paid by somebody else. So I was at an okay place there. I am just kind of curious to take your guys' temperature on where you would put all of this, removing the Mahomes part for now, because that will be the next entire conversation. But with this season officially wrapped up from a playoff contention standpoint, curious how you guys were feeling as that game was going that way. And then Nate, obviously the locker room stories I imagine are also going to be incredibly heavily influenced by the fact that their superstar quarterback was helped down the tunnel at the end. So again, kind of the non-Mahomes category of the end of the season.
Yeah. The thing that jumps out to me most about this game is that they had good stretches, kind of like they've had this season. But the fourth quarter, they were pretty cooked emotionally. I think from a concentration standpoint, there were just snaps. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna just single him out, but there were snaps in the second half where I don't know if Mike Caliendo had any solutions. So every play is being impacted immediately upon the snap. I think was Rashee Rice the safety ran the slant for him play? That was in the second half, right?
It was.
There were multiple times where, okay, Chris Jones gets pressure. Okay, defense has been structurally sound through the first 2.5 seconds of this play. And there's another completion that continues a drive. The Chiefs lost a field position battle in the second half when neither team made it quite clear that they weren't scoring a touchdown. It's basically okay, we're playing a field position game. This is very old school football, cold weather, don't do anything stupid, don't have a turnover, don't have penalties, try to gain a couple first downs and then push them in their own deep end and see if you can get the ball back in plus territory. Well, guess who did that first? It was the Chargers. That's why they have the game-winning field goal. Chris Jones has been dealing with a groin. He started dealing with the hamstring. He left the game. He came back. I think Nick Bolton had an arm, rib, mouth situation in the game. He came back. I thought the Jalen Watson injury was almost non-contact, which was troubling because he's a pending free agent. He comes back into the game. I think we know now. And again, the only way this player can get better is keep putting him out there. Dog, you ain't got to hold him every other play, no. You ain't got to do that. These guys aren't even good enough to be doing that, right? If you want to hold Nico Collins, I get it. He's a good football player. None of them dudes are good on LA. So it's all right, he's a little bit of a penalty. He gravitates to the penalties, or at least he's starting to have a reputation there to where the refs are clearly keen on him, or it's being advised to them from the opponent to key in on him. And then lastly, as I said in the last episode, hey guys, either you're going to really enjoy this scoreboard watch or you're going to hate it. And of course, Josh Allen decides to just be amazing in the second half. And yes, I'm going to say his name. The reason why the Patriots lost to the Bills is because James Cook woke up and holy smokes, if he plays the way he played in Pittsburgh and in New England, the Bills should make the Super Bowl. So you had the Bills' best two players realizing, oh, we should just play awesome from here on out. And so as that's happening, the Chiefs literally can't get a first down. And then, of course, it's like, all right, couple minutes left. The defense has, by and large, done its job. Here we go. And then the first couple plays of the last drive, you're like, wow, they got Kelsey open. Oh, that looks interesting. Okay, now we're getting into some tempo. We're getting into some rhythm. Okay, maybe took all second half, but they're finding something. Oh no. Is he grabbing his knee within 1 second? I knew, because I've been covering sports long enough to know that when professional athletes grab something, it's over, guys. And no one should ever have to question Patrick's wherewithal, his ability to adjust, his ability to honestly will himself and his teammates. It is a bit Shakespearean. And this is something that I didn't say in the monologue, but I do want to say here. It's a bit of a Shakespearean experience to know that Patrick that day watched Alex Smith play excellent football, and none of it mattered in the second half. Guys, the reason the Chiefs lost to the Tennessee Titans was not because of Alex Smith. Because if you rewatch that entire second half, he's on time. He's not turning the ball over. If it's a bad play call, cool. I'm going to eat it. We're just going to move on to the next down. I still have the lead. Okay, hey, I could have pushed it, but hey, we got a kicker. He gonna make the kick, right? So if it's not there, just okay, we'll throw it away. I don't want to go backwards because I don't want to put our field goal in a further back. What he doinked it? He doinked it. Okay, some of these play calls aren't great. As many people know, didn't give the ball to Kareem Hunt, who was excellent in the first half, didn't give him the ball in the second half. None of this was Alex Smith's fault in the second half, and everyone, to Seth's point, knew he's not going to be back here next year. So it's wildly similar to know that Patrick did everything he could, made a terrible mistake in the red zone, which is the theme of his season. If there's one thing you should hammer Patrick Mahomes on is, man, you are too experienced to have these back-breaking killer turnovers in the red zone, minus the Travis Kelce should have caught it for a touchdown against the Eagles, right? So he's trying his best. Again, did he know? I mean, I think he did know his tackles because they were in training camp. But, did he know his tackles? I mean, Khalil Mack destroying plays left and right. Just destroying. He saw the majestic white horse on a sandy beach and said, he's being sent to Cancun. I mean, they tried to block Khalil Mack multiple times with Noah Gray. It never went well. They cannot run the football. So you know what? It is on my shoulders. And the weight, the gravity, all of it just leads to the one thing that can't happen, Josh. The literal one thing. And if he throws that ball to Xavier Worthy, Seth, there's no guarantee Xavier Worthy comes down with that ball. And that's why he didn't throw it. And so everything compounds in the second half, similar to the second half in the AFC 2017 wildcard round. The reason the Chiefs lost to the Titans is because the defense had a collapse of epic proportions. Marcus Mariota kind of played out of his mind that night, and the offense didn't score a point. Gentlemen, how many points did the offense score in the second half against the Chargers on Sunday?
Well, let me think about all the scoring plays. I can't remember any.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
They didn't score, guys. So there's similarities to one era ending and another ending. Only this time, the greatest quarterback we've ever seen now has a legitimate 9 to 10 month rehab, and it will be the hardest rehab of his career. He will have to scale yet another mountain in a way that he never did before. And the Chiefs have confidence that he can do everything that's asked of him because he is such a diligent hardworking, caring player. But the question that may never be answered, and so I'll just ask it here, because I don't know when we're going to talk to Patrick Mahomes again. The hope is that we'll get him before the season ends as a collective group of reporters. You had damage in that ligament already before you. I mean, that knee's damaged. And the question is, how damaged was that knee that you chose to play on to keep this thing afloat, knowing that you're putting yourself out there in a way that is risky, and you could argue maybe even riskier than what the most heroic thing we've ever seen is what he did in the 2022 postseason. Insane. I mean, when you talk about the gratefulness, the man couldn't run on Wednesday, guys. He still practiced, and then somehow, and this is all documented on Netflix, which you should go back and rewatch, somehow got his body to be ready to go against the Bengals and picked the perfect moment when he had to run. When it was time to get up and go, he got up and go. Penalty happens. Thankfully, Harrison Butker makes that field goal, because I will always be able to believe if Harrison Butker misses that field goal, there ain't no way in hell they're winning that game. I think it's tied because they went, 20-17? So they go to overtime. There's no chance they win that game because Patrick literally didn't have anything. He left 2 weeks later, does a similar insane performance in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs win their second one. So, again, will we find the truth? I'm not sure, but I am led to believe that he had serious damage in that knee before the game, which he knew, and now he's got, honestly, a 10-month rehab looking at him in the face. And I know that he is, quote-unquote, hell-bent and motivated to be ready for week 1 of the 2026 season. I believe that will be, September 15th, if the Chiefs are to argue that they should have Monday Night Football at home, giving him the last possible date in week 1 to possibly have a return. But no, I mean, that's the best case scenario, guys, similar to what we saw with Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons had an incredible rehab. He's a lot younger than Patrick Mahomes. It's a different injury, of course. But yeah, the next 10 months are going to be extremely grueling for Patrick Mahomes.
Seth, I don't know if you want to do anything on the sort of season at large before we end up back in we ended up there anyway, but in terms of where the season left you, what we saw the book close on against the Chargers, anything from that game or what that means the next couple of weeks in your mind?
I'm actually writing right now about how I would handle the rest of the season if I were the Chiefs. In terms of that particular game, I agree with you. I don't think it provided any new information really about the Chiefs. They've had, how did my sister phrase it a few weeks ago? They've had spurts of greatness. And that was about it. And so it's a flawed roster. I think there's a tendency to overreact. I don't think it's as flawed as the current narrative, but there's flaws to the roster. There's definitive weaknesses that they've had for a while now that have finally really come home to roost. But none of them really, like even some of the pressure they were getting on the quarterback, some of it was just a second too slow. I mean, that bomb down the field by Herbert, at the pressure gets there 0.1 second faster, it doesn't happen. And it was a great throw, but like slow pressure. I mean, we've talked about this all year.
Also, did he catch it?
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, kind of, sort of. I mean, it doesn't matter. But
I Chiefs no favors in the first half is my only point. Every subjective call, literally with the Chargers way in the first half, it was quite comedic to be like, man, Kevin Harlan, the league's gonna call you, sir, and say, can you calm down? And he's like, he got bear hugged.
Yeah, that was an awful call. And it doesn't. The thing is, I just don't know if the Chiefs had it this game, regardless of whether those two calls go differently.
Right.
Calls. So I don't think I learned anything new about the Chiefs. It's a flawed roster. with specific flaws that genuinely impact their ability to win games against good teams because they're not consistent enough on either side of the ball. And what they really need, in my opinion, is a difference maker on each side of the ball. Like an actual difference maker, because if you want to know the biggest difference between this iteration of the Chiefs and the 2023 Chiefs, it would be one difference maker on both sides of the ball. Like legitimate difference maker. Healthy L'Jarius Sneed, who was a difference maker, right?
Yep.
And then I would just say, in terms of on offense, 2023 version of Travis Kelce. And that's the thing. You lose that 5%. You know what I mean? And that's where, when you've relied on absolute greatness to cover certain flaws, then what you need, they don't need Chris Jones to be even an all-pro level player. They need him to be, 93% of Aaron Donald.
Right. Can you be JJ Watt in his prime?
Right. And that's not necessarily a sustainable way to do that. So I didn't really learn anything new about him other than the fact that they could get bumped out of the playoffs. I was shocked at how shocked I was when it happened. Even after Mahomes got hurt, I figured they'd still score. And that really is, I think, part of the entitlement thing. That's been the floor has been the AFC Championship. And so that was, I guess that was new. No one, I really did like Chris Jones's comment after the game that success is rented. I know that's an expression, but it's a good one. It's really kind of like one. Money doesn't have owners, only spenders.
Correct.
Like success is rented. This is a temporary thing. So, they've got work to do now. They've got work to do.
Lastly, Josh, I wonder how you felt about this, because again, the officials this year have just been objectively more noticeably bad than in previous years. And I don't know how you fix it, but objectively, how did you feel when the ref said, you know what, it's gone too far? And we looked and we were like, I don't know if Jefferson really launched himself. And of course, everybody knows that like Tyquan's trying to protect himself, so he lowers his head, because he's anticipating the hit. And like, yeah, I mean, Rashee Rice kind of died for our sins out there, but like, does he need to be ejected from the game? But if you guys got to eject him to get this moment right here, Travis Kelce face to face with guys, and all of a sudden, Kingsley Suamati is like, I'll fight all you mother bleepers, and Derwin James is like, I'm right here. Josh, did you think this is going to energize them? This is going to give them juice? This is the moment that's going to like wake them up?
Oh, if that would have happened in like week 8, maybe. On Sunday, no, it really didn't. And so this, for me, my bit of macabre gratitude is that given how things went in Chiefs Chargers, I am glad that the other 3 games went the way they did, and that we don't have to do this week with, if we win out and everybody else loses out mathematically, if we get 6 ties in the next 2 weeks, we could be back in the hunt. Because, calling back to your point about what was Mahomes already playing through, thinking about free agency in the offseason, Trent McDuffie should not touch a gridiron again until the rest of this season. He doesn't need to be out there anymore. Trey Smith, thank you. Rest up. Xavier Worthy, tough dude. You have things to prove as a football player. You do not need to do it in this version of your body right now. Go get right. Jalen Watson said he's a pending free agent. You have please don't go out there and die for no reason. Don't put your free agency into question because you are huffing it through a team that is mathematically eliminated. And this isn't about tanking. It works out nice with the draft pick thing because at this point the draft pick means more. But I don't always end up in the school of thought that just like, okay, play your hardest until you're probably not going to make the Super Bowl, and then pull all your starters and get the highest possible draft pick. That's not realistic. Life doesn't work that way. The NFL doesn't work that way. The Chiefs didn't pull Patrick Mahomes on Christmas Day last year with extra wiggle room. It's like, we're gonna strain to the finish and all of that, right? And they ended up obviously being able to sit in Week 18. There are plenty of explanations for all of these guys. Juwan Taylor, thank you. Do not worry about it. The best thing for the future of the Chiefs is to let guys who have something to prove play out the rest of this season. You get 3 preseason games against other teams' starters. I don't care how the coaching staff prepares. If they want to prepare to try their hardest to win and just you are trying to win the football game, that's what you do, fine. If you want to prepare in a way where you're saying, hey, we're going to force feed Brashard Smith 24 carries over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks.
Ice up, baby.
Then plan on that. Then go for that. No Williams, get out there. Hey, Nick Bolton, you've been banged up. Throw the green dot on Jeffrey Boss's helmet and let Spags talk to him for 3 weeks. You have real game
now we're
reps and
talking.
Live bullets to come here. So all of these guys, and again, it's not just like, hey, you know who I'm not going to tell what to do? Travis Kelce. That's up to him. I don't know how his body feels, and I don't know what his plan is for next year. But Nate, I don't care. I don't care. It's up to him. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to get 1,000 yards from Gardner Minshew, go for it. If he wants to rest and start his offseason, that's fine. But I'm saying I don't care about that one. I care what he does, but that's up to him.
On behalf of him, I care for him. He cannot be out there. I know he's gonna say something different on the podcast.
If he's got 3 weeks left in his NFL career and he wants to play football, play football.
No, I can't. No, not after what we just saw with 2 minutes left on the clock with the season on the line. No, I cannot.
If he wants to play more football, he should not play this year. If he just wants to finish out this year and ride off into the sunset, it's up to him. I'm saying that's when I'm not drawing the line on. Chris Jones, you're dealing with injuries. Chris Jones, you're an old defensive tackle who's played all the snaps, don't need to be out there. I'm saying the one veteran who I am omitting from that is Travis Kelce, because I don't know what he's thinking about his future. Everybody else, protect the injured guys from themselves. Maybe you help protect your team from winning games that otherwise you would win, and it improves your draft stock. But I cannot bear to watch Xavier Worthy and Trey Smith go out there with multiple injuries that have been nagging their season. Just, this team has played an extra season of playoff games. Jalen Royals, it's your time to run some routes, my friend. Let's see what you learned all year. Like, I do not need the established pieces who are going to be here or guys who are about to hit free agency. I do not need to see them the rest of the way. You have played more than your share of games. Take the next 3 off. That's where I'm at in terms of how the loss changes how I'm thinking now.
Patrick Mahomes is an instruction. I know Travis Kelce's beat up because he's always beat up this time of the year.
Yeah.
And I know he's not showing the same level of like athleticism he had in like October, November. Totally understandable.
He's played 1 billion snaps.
And to that point, no, I cannot let you do this. I cannot. No, man. There's nothing to play for. Like, I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see you tear your ACL. No, it cannot go like this.
I will just say, if he's retiring after the season, if he knows what he wants to do, which I don't think he does.
I don't think he does.
So that kind of changes things. The lights are flickering.
I've been watching Stranger Things, Seth. You got to go.
Yeah. I will say, like, if he has an inkling that he might be done, then I think you let him do whatever he wants, because you got to remember, once you're done, you never do this again.
Unless you're Phillip Rivers.
And now, Gronkowski. Pull a Rob Gronkowski. Do that. Hey, the next time I want to see you in uniform is November when real football's about to start.
And that honestly might be the only way to get them to make some changes that they need to make, because if Kelce comes back next year, it can't be as a foundational player. It should be as one of the best.
That was supposed to be the plan this year. And he still leads them in targets, receptions, yards, first downs by reception, touch. Like, it's insane. He cannot come back. He can't. Like, who's it? Scott Kazmir? Love that dude to death. He's speaking the gospel too. the only way this offense completely changes is if Travis Kelce's no longer a part of it, and Patrick Mahomes is not going to walk through that door unless it's like maybe August, right? So like, not like this. I'm sorry, not to sound like the. I mean, she was a lovely lady in The Matrix, but not like this. No, not like this. I cannot see this. I don't want this. You don't need this, man. No, not like this.
I think I'm more of a let grown-ups do what they want kind of guy. Travis Kelce's a 36-year-old man. If he decides, hey, I love football.
I'm going out like Lightning McQueen. Then that's up to him.
It is. You know, people keep doing jobs that they probably shouldn't be doing anymore all the time because they love them. I would tell them like, hey, maybe sit the next 3 weeks out and make a decision because, you know, that extra 3 weeks will matter next year. But they have to change their approach. The plan has been to change their approach. They have to change their post Kelce plan from Rashee Rice being wide receiver 1 to something else, unless something's going on that I don't know about. I mean, these are things we can talk about. But man, I sure would love to make Rashee Rice one of the best wide receiver 2s in the NFL. Xavier Worthy, one of the best wide receiver 3s. That'd be great.
Tyquan Thornton, one of the best wide receiver 8s for some reason.
That's something Tyquan Thornton deserves 15 targets a game, closing it out to make as much money as possible in free agency.
Bad news there's no way we're not seeing him next week, right?
Correct. I mean, I did see him in the locker room, so who knows? Maybe by tomorrow he is technically out of concussion protocol. Josh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal.
Because I saw him have a nice chat with Andy Reid. I know that he was available for us after the game, which is rare for someone to
really?
For someone to be entered now. Let me summarize who spoke on behalf of the team that wasn't at the podium after the game, kids. All right, so what I'm saying is maybe we see Tyquan Thornton on it was like Brian Cook and Jalen Watson and Leo Chenal. Anyone on offense? Oh, there's Gardner Minshew. Thank you for coming to the podium to give us some perspective on the season being ending and just your thoughts on Patrick as a friend, a competitor, and a teammate. So, Tyquan Thornton could play on Sunday. I do want to make that clear, like because he's available. Maybe he goes through the protocol early this week. I think the Chiefs. I'm trying to remember because of which game did Kingsley miss? Did Kingsley play on Thanksgiving? I think he played on Thanksgiving. Maybe he didn't play on Thanksgiving. I can't remember, but like he was in the concussion protocol. He cleared it pretty quickly as well. So I don't know. There's a chance, Seth, that he could run routes for you. And who in the world is Gardner Minshew gonna throw to anyway? Because I'll tell you what he'll check to. There's 87.
Right.
I'm trying to stay alive myself.
Right. He's back there behind at least 3 backup offensive linemen.
Ball coming out quick, 87. Be ready.
Hey, not flipping at all. Creed Humphrey, you've played plenty of football, man. Let's stay active. Okay. Maybe something happens. You got to go back out there, but Hunter Norzad, let's see if you've got that inside offensive lineman potential there. You could be the flex behind everybody. We've obviously mentioned, we've talked about the Mahomes element of this all. We're hitting the hour mark already, so we'll have a lot more time to talk about a lot more things. Nate, I don't know if you've got any specific stuff on Mahomes you haven't already said. You've gone through a bunch of it already, but
yep.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's hit that, and then we'll wrap it up after that.
Okay. So I do have an ending, and here's the last bit of Patrick Mahomes info I can tell you. So again, if you're just joining us live here, we're here at the start. The biggest question is, did he already have damage in his knee before the catastrophe that occurred on Sunday? By him having the surgery in Dallas with what's his name? Daniel Cooper? Am I getting that right? God, there's so many names. the head physician for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the best knee surgeons money can buy. He will have this is the optimistic part. He will have, yes, Dan Cooper, thank you, D-Mac. He will have every means, staff, equipment, time available to him. If he can clear the first month, huge sign for Patrick Mahomes in his progress towards getting back sooner rather than later. That's the first time, guys, that we saw Patrick Mahomes walk away of his own accord. Every other injury this man has had, he has always wanted to go back in. And that's even including the concussion he had against the Browns in the AFC divisional playoff game where Chad Henne, anything is possible, happened. The other thing, too, is because of when the injury occurred and how it's going to affect the team's offseason, there's a possibility that Patrick Mahomes, and you could ask me, Nate, what's the best case scenario? Patrick Mahomes suiting up with the rest of the offense for the preseason finale with 2.5 weeks to then recover from playing the first football game after an ACL to potentially be available for week 1. He knew this on Sunday. He was already planning for it Sunday night, which is why it was so important that he went to Dallas, I believe, Monday morning, had the surgery Monday night, and basically day 1 was today. And it is quite clear that his target is week 1. So the quarterback that you root for, wipe the tears away, face reality, put out his statement on Twitter, and was already plotting for week 1 in 2026. Is that a healthy thing? We'll see. But I do want to make that clear that when we get to the he's different sort of category, this is another example where how quickly can I get to Dallas? How quickly can the swelling go down? How quickly can I have surgery? How quickly can I come back? How can I plan every day for the next 10 months if that is required from me to be diligent, to be consistent, to be level-headed in all this, to go back to doing the thing I love? Again, he is a remarkable athlete, and this is the start of what could be the best case scenario, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Last thing for me, I just wanted to highlight a couple of comments we've gotten throughout the show. One from Troy that said, the Time Czar's Only Weird Games crew has never recorded a podcast with the Chiefs mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, today being the first. Truly, we've never done a podcast where the season's ended before the AFC Championship game, which is unbelievable. And then the super chat from Trevor. So I know you guys will hate to hear it, but the gratitude extends all the way out to us in the audience, getting to listen to you guys wax lyrical and make zipper jokes. Much love, fellas. I hate to tell you, Trevor, you're wrong. I don't hate to hear that. I love to hear that. I love flattery, and I love being told how important we are. So that's it from my side. Seth, any final grunts from you before Nate gets us out of here?
I'm just I'm grateful to have watched it, and I'm excited to start a couple of series on how I think the Chiefs can right the ship and get right back where they belong next year.
Get those fingers loose.
I'm ready.
Let's keep an eye out for carpal tunnel, Seth. We're going to have a lot of work for you the next few months, and we'll, of course, be here to talk about it. And, of course, we'll be here to talk about Titans game and playing the Broncos on Christmas and the Raiders. It's going to be kind of a tough final 3 weeks to get through. Yeah. With that being said, Nate, go ahead and get us out of here.
All right, guys. Here we are. We are in uncharted territory, as they might say. So I went on this website called Google.com.
You're always bringing these niche websites to the show.
I know. Very, 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 very niche of me. And I typed in, when does the Australian Open start? Ladies, I'm here to tell you, gentlemen, if I could just have a few minutes.
A few minutes?
The Australian Open starts on January 12th. And guys, tennis is booming. So we'll have plenty of things to talk about. Because if I can convince one of you guys to become a tennis fan with me, I will have succeeded in my endeavor.
This is my 2 weeks notice.